Hey, g'day again everyone. Right, what you see here is my front shocky off the Volkswagen Beetle. I had an issue when I was travelling, when I loaded up the boot. I had my tyres scrubbing on the guard, which is basically because I think they're Porsche wheels actually, the offset's wrong. But anyway, not about changing that. And I was going to go and buy coil over shocks, and I probably still will for the rear actually, but with the front, I did an emergency one. I made a video of it actually a while back when I was up at Taree, and I put some industrial springs on it, like quite larger ones, but they were all so short they didn't reach the top, and if they had of it, it would have put it too high anyway, so too strong. But they broke. They broke first time I went bush actually, because they weren't designed for that sort of abuse. But anyway, I was looking around for a bit of pipe the other day and found some motorbike 4 tubes, and 2 of them still had the springs in it, and I pulled them out and cut off what I needed off the pipe. This is, by the way, this is yeah, very heavy wall pipe. The thickness of that, and yeah, that's why I've kept it to use when I need stuff of that strength. Anyway, but that's when I thought, well, okay, I wonder if I can put these springs in the shocks, and I thought, well, even temporary, you know, till I can afford a pair of coil over front shocks. And I thought, well, if I can get them to work properly, I won't have to buy them at all. So yeah, this is what I've come up with. You don't need anything on the top at all. What I've had to do, I've had to grind that bit down a little bit, because I cut away where the cap used to fit on, and then I ground that away again so that the spring will fit over, because it's quite narrow. Some wider ones would be ideal, but anyway. But then, so as I said, there's nothing needed on the top. They just rest against this plate, the rubber bush. Down the bottom though, it's a little bit of a different story. You don't want this spring to be rubbing on the shaft for your shocky, so wear it out and yeah, leak oil and stop working. These shocky, they're not marvellous, but they're not worn out either. They're still working. There's still reasonable amount of tension in there. So yeah, plenty enough for Volkswagen anyway. Yeah, Volkswagen doesn't need to have, it's not a race car, doesn't need to have the best shockies you can get. So, but at the moment I need some lift. And I have tested in the car with, like, this spring comes full length up to the stopper. And just with one side in it, gave me about another 3 inches. I've already lifted, it's already sort of, I suppose 2 inches higher than it used to be anyway, and that's just by raising the back. I adjusted the back springs. So it'll be good if it'll drive well at that height. That will be a good height, but I might get bump steer. And bump steer is, if you don't know, is when you go over bumps, your steering turns in and out, which is caused by having too much angle on your steering rods. So whether that happens is yet to be seen. So if that is the case, well, then I'll have to chop them back down a bit. So even at the height, I'd say the height I got was sort of a little bit low for the bush, but I said the main issue was when you loaded it up, it sagged. It needed something else extra. So yeah, if I get bump steer occurring, well then I'll chop them down till it rides back at the height that it was at. However, then it'd you know, when the front of the car lifts up, these would be coming off the spring and then coming back down and making a noise. So if I chop them down, I'll have to then put another plate on there or something, and a lighter spring that'll stay compressed most of the time, which will be like just enough to stop this from flying up and down if it lifts up. Anyway, yeah, so what I've done here, right, you've got this, the Volkswagen shock, you've got this little sort of a cap thing on top, protector thing, which is really good because it means you can weld onto it then, like a little bit at a time. You still don't want to get too hot, you don't want to burn the seal out, but if it didn't have that, you can't sort of weld straight onto the top of your shock. You'd destroy it, might even explode. So what I've done, I said this collar is to keep the spring centered, and this is a bit of fork tube because even though it's a bit heavy duty, it's like the only bit of pipe I got that fits neatly around the spring. So, but that's to keep the spring center, this plate here, and I've put a washer underneath it, which is sort of almost the size of the underside piece. So I've tacked that in place. I've got it centered, and I've centered this, tacked in place. So I'll cut that washer off now. It's only a couple of little tacks. Yeah, so I'll cut that off now, and then I'll weld this piece a bit more, let it cool down, and then I'll tack it back on, cool it with the air when I do. So we'll see how we go, and hope I'm sort of making sense to somebody, but trying to give myself I'll be able to load and boot up with stuff when we go camping and whatever, and not have the tyres scraped, and that's the main objective. And if I can get a bit of extra lift and not create bump steer, well, that'll be a bonus. But yeah, I'm just trying to avoid paying out $250 for some coil over shocks for it. As I said, I'll put the proper ones on the back, but I've got another reason for that. And that the coil over shocks, they'll compress, but they'll only expand to a certain length. So you get a little bit of lift out of them, but it also stops the suspension coming right down when if the wheel gets off the ground. Sort of what's happening at the moment, they've given it that little bit of extra lift on the spring, but what's happening is that this spring plate is coming down and banging on the stop. It's the spring plate here. You go over a big bump, the wheel comes off the ground, it comes down, hits that, goes bang. And that's getting a bit annoying. As I said, it wouldn't bang that hard if it had the regular tension. The other thing I want to do, and the other reason for putting a proper coil over shock, is those shocky mounts. That's what's hanging down there. That is going to catch on things. Sooner or later I'm going to bend or break that. And yeah, I've seen on other bug videos where they have broken them off. So that's an issue. So if I get coil over shocks, well then I can change the I'll change the position of the shock. So yeah, cut that piece off. Cut it off here. Cut this piece out of it, and I'll turn the whole thing upside down and put it inside it. So there'll be nothing hanging down lower than this level here. Yeah. Whether I've got to change the upper mounts is yet to be seen, but if I've got to do that, well, I've got to do that. But anyway, that's down the track. Hopefully not too far down the track now, because I've managed to sell my bike, so I've got a couple of bob in my pocket at the moment. But, yeah. Anyway, before we get to that, I've got an engine rebuild coming up. And yeah, I want to put a I want to put a 32-36 Weber carby in it. You know, I've been told by the carby bloke that they won't work on this manifold. It's just too restricted. It won't get enough airflow to work it. So yeah, got to build another manifold. And I was thinking for some reason it had to be built out of aluminium, and I was going to have to sort of get the aluminium, cut it all up and get someone else to weld it. But and I've seen other people on YouTube who've made manifolds out of steel, so obviously that it'll work made out of steel, so I can make it myself. This is the old manifold out of 1300, the single port head. And so I'm going to get the motor out. I'm going to check the inside diameter of this, and if it's the same, similar, or smaller than this one, well then I'll go out and get another one of these, and then I've got my two pipes coming up from the head, and I should be able to see the curve on that. I should be able to use the one from the other side. Should curve the other way, so yeah. So I should have the two pipes coming up, and then I only need to make a box in the middle, coming up to the carby. So that's another project that I'll show you down the track, which hopefully not too far away. Anyway, that's enough of a ramble on for today. Yeah, I'll get those two things built, and then I'll give you an update tomorrow and let you know if it worked, whether I can go up full height, or whether I had to chop them down, or if there's any other issues. Alright, thanks for watching and listen to my ramble. Okay, bye.